Good morning, May 1st. Look what God gave us today for our eyes only. Look at that. You guys probably laugh at me because I'm always so amazed by the sunrise. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? I had to run downstairs. Let me see what time it is, 6 o'clock even. And I had to run downstairs to get my phone. And it wasn't even like this. And I was like, oh no. Because the sun goes down and comes up so quick. Look at that. I have my hand out the window because I have the dogs and then they would be barking. There's that contrast of Carol's tree. Isn't that beautiful? It doesn't even look real. It's so gorgeous. It's like a painting. Like, it doesn't look like it's real because at the top of the sky is just, grayish, whatever it is. Normal Pittsburgh sky colors. But look at that. Look at those colors. They're so beautiful. I hope you guys can appreciate this as much as I do. See, I did belong in kindergarten. I'm amazed at things like a little child. But that's what I am. That's who I am. Some people may think that's weird, but I don't care anymore. All right, look at that sunrise. I'm gonna have to send this to Daryl. It's gorgeous. Okay, I still don't have power, day 3, and there's starting to be a funky smell in the kitchen, so I guess all my meat that I bought on my grocery haul from Sam's Club, all that meat, I filled the freezer because we're trying to lose weight on a higher protein diet, and yeah, well, that's all down the drain. So, all right, the garbage men are coming, so I gotta turn this off. Love you guys. I'll be right back for a discussion. For prayers. Bye. Good morning. Welcome back to Sunrise with Sally. The clouds went over the sun now, so at least we got to see what we saw, right? So it's a beautiful morning, despite the sun not still shining. It always is a beautiful morning that I wake up, put my feet on the floor, and can actually get up and walk. I'm just grateful for everything like that, everything. So I wanted to do a reading this morning. Let me get some coffee. First cup of coffee in the morning. It's so great. The reading I wanted to do is Let Go, Let God. I don't know if you saw my other videos, but I've had some testing going on, and I'm trying to let go, let God. It's a little scary, but, God will provide. So, if you can keep me in your prayers, that would be so awesome. And all the other people in the world that need help, because sometimes I feel like, other people need prayers more than I do, but I do need them. All right, guys. Let go, let God. I let go and let God, trusting in new beginnings. When I need to release an unworkable situation or a desired outcome, if a desired outcome becomes hopeless, I may feel at the end. But this finality can herald a new beginning if I am willing to let go of what I have been holding on to. This can feel scary, especially if I cannot imagine what my new beginning might look like. At these times, I lean into my faith and trust that although my human mind is limited, divine mind is infinite. I let go of my rigid thinking and any notions of how my good should manifest. I let go by welcoming with gratitude my blessings, however they come, often in ways I may not expect. I am a beloved child of God, fully deserving of all the good things life has to offer. Trust in the Word, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own insight. How about that one? That's from Proverbs 3:5. But in the very end there was what I said, because I didn't read this before. It says here, I am a beloved child of God, fully deserving of all the good things that life has to offer. Because I'm always saying that I'm not deserving. It's not funny, but it's the way it is with me. So, and then it says, I help create a world of peace. A simple image comes to mind when contemplating peace, that of the easy harmony in a world where friendship and love define every life. The world's people may not always agree. Even Jesus' disciples argued. The Apostle Paul got into squabbles everywhere he went. The solution? Respect differences, celebrate the diversity of humanity, and learn to respond instead of react. That's a big one. Respond instead of react. Okay. If friends and family bicker and make up, so can neighbors and nations. I endeavor to be a presence of peace wherever I go, and I trust others around the world feel the same way. In prayer, I envision people living contently and harmoniously. I join my prayer with those of others holding the same vision. Together, we are creating heaven on earth. Peace to you, and peace to your house, and peace be to all that you have. And that's from 1 Samuel 25:6. So in one part, we're saying to let go and trust God. And then on the other part, it says, this is what I'm getting from it. The free will that God gives us, that we need to even if you bicker and fight, that you need to respond with, I'm trying to remember what I just said. Learn to respond instead of react. Oh my gosh, how many of us do that? I'm not saying I'm Miss Perfect here. No, I try to act with kindness. I try to do things like that, but you never see me on here saying that I am perfect. I am not, by no means. I'm one of the last people that would say that. But to respond instead of react. Wow, if you really think about that, respond instead of react. You know how many people react to things that they don't even know? Like, they hear it and they think that it's one thing, and they start flipping out when the person didn't really mean it that way. Like, that's why one of the reasons why I don't like to text, because you don't know what tone the person's using, if they're sarcastic or if they're joking around. And plus, I'm really slow typer. And then I always have something to say. I like too much to say. So if you're one of my friends, you know that I do paragraphs and then I break them up. Text 1, text 2. But that's what respond instead of react. I gotta learn that too. I'm guilty of that too. Someone says something smarty pants to me, I'm like, excuse me, but from now on, I'm just going to try to just walk away. But you know what? You can only walk away so much, because when I worked at a job and I walked away and I just responded, okay, whatever you want, I ended up being stepped on and pushed around tremendously. And, this turn the other cheek thing, how many times are you supposed to turn the other cheek? 7 times 7, right? I don't know. But I had no respect from the teachers, and this was at a school I was at for a little bit, and it was very hurtful. They would do things to me. I mean, people were stealing out of my classroom, stuff I brought from home, or I bought from my students. And then they would, the whole group of them, this is in a religious school, okay? In a religious school. They would stand outside of my room in a group, you know, the little circle, like these old women, old bitty patrol. I call them the OBP, old bitty patrol. You can use that if you want, OBP, old bitty patrol. I'm one that makes up things like that. You'll learn about my sense of humor or my sarcasm, but never to hurt anyone though. So the OBP were standing outside my room in a group. Oh, where should we go to lunch? Should we go to, I don't know, Hot Wings? Or I don't even know the names of the places, which I don't really want to anyway, because I used to always be like, I got to get home, let my dogs out, you know, get Maddie off the bus and things like that, right? And I didn't really give a crap about what they were doing, but they would say it loud enough so I would hear them, and like, oh, don't tell Sally, you know. It's like, I don't really care, but because I was closing up my classroom and getting ready to go home, and I hear this, and so I can't leave my classroom because they're all out there. I'm trying to get out of my room, but they're congregating in front of my door saying stuff like that, nastiness. And the thing is though, I shared, if they asked me for anything, I would share, I would give them, I would help them out, or I would stay and, you know, if they need someone on my break to cover their room because they needed an extra break to make a phone call, I would do that. Anyway, so the more I thought about it and more anxiety, because I have such high anxiety, the more anxiety I got to get out of that classroom, the more upset I got and my feelings got hurt, and then, you know, how you gradually get mad. But I didn't get mad till I got home. And I'm trying to get out of the school. I get past them. I'm trying to hold back the tears, because why should they deserve to see my tears? And I got almost to the doors to where the parking lot was, and the DRE, Director of Religious Ed, saw me, and she's like, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Nothing." And you know how you can't talk. And then she pulled me into her office, and it just like a dam broke. And I could have made it to the car if she didn't do that. But she was a friend of mine. And I said, "This is like freaking junior high school, picking on, you know, the lower kid." And I just told her all about it. She goes, "Well, that's wrong." I said, "Well, yeah, this is a religious school." But you know what? I just said, you know, I'm fine. And I left and didn't want anything mentioned to them. But I got to my car, did my little cry by myself, went home, and, you know, of course I told my husband. But next day I went to school, and I didn't even think about it. I didn't do any kind of like, you know, go in their room and sabotage it or anything. I just, I responded instead of reacting. I just couldn't do that to myself. I couldn't bring myself to their level. Why would I want to do that? No. So that's just an example. And then again, I'm not saying I'm perfect. And I, you know, about, you know, last time we were talking about acts of kindness and stuff like that. I wasn't trying to be a martyr and say, well, I do this, and this. I was just giving examples, and I do random anonymous acts of kindness that I don't mention on here. There are plenty of them. So in the comments, you know, please respond instead of reacting, because I'm not that kind of a person. I feel I have a loving heart, and I'm welcoming to any of you, no matter your age, coming in here. You know, if any of you never needed someone to talk to, I'm here. My email's on the description of my thing, of my YouTube page. I am here for everybody, even if even the people that have done me wrong, they come to my door and they say, you know, Sal, and I don't even bring it up. I had a student, and she came to my door. She must have been, I guess, in high school. And I had her in class the years before. And I guess she came over my house. And I said, oh, Crystal, what you doing here, honey? And because I hadn't seen her in a while because she moved away. And I guess she was visiting her grandma right down the street from me. And she came in and we were talking. And she was trying to tell me how she was being abused and she wanted help. And that more or less I was the only person she thought she could trust. You know, and that does something to your heart when, you know, a child, even though she was in 9th grade, she's still a child, feels that way about you. So be alert, be open, keep your arms open wide, you know, and let's end with a little prayer of having a wonderful day, okay? God, please help us all have a productive, wonderful, loving, drama-free day. Spend time with family and friends and be able to respond instead of react to a million things. Thank you, dear Jesus, God, Mary, Joseph, for watching over us. Thank you. I'll see you guys next time. Love you so much. Believe and it will be. It's always been my mantra. Believe and it will be. Believe in yourself. Believe in God. Whatever. Just believe and it will be. Manifest what you need. Love you guys. Bye.